All right, welcome everyone. Hope you all are having a good summer session. My name is Susan Delahoussaye. I'm the career advisor here at SOPA. Many of you get emails from me every week. And I am happy to introduce our presenter for today to talk to you all a little bit about LinkedIn and why it is so important for networking. And even if you're not in the job search process right now, just to build your network, and because it will help you in the future for sure. So today we have Swati Shah. She's an MD, an MPH, and she is the founder of Plans Connect, a networking and career development consultancy that helps healthcare, public health, and life sciences professionals build meaningful connections and advance their careers. Swati is a board certified OBGYN physician and former medical science liaison. She brings experience from clinical, medical, public health, industry, and entrepreneurship. Swati is a proud member of the Tulane University community. She's completed her OBGYN residency at Tulane School of Medicine, earned her Master of Public Health from the Tulane School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, and she's currently continuing her education as a Tulane School of Professional Advancement student. So she will move forward now and share practical tips to help strengthen your LinkedIn profile and professional presence. So you all enjoy. Thanks, Swati.
Thank you, Susan. It's an honor to be here, and I'm thrilled to share a brief, a power intensive LinkedIn session, how to spruce up your profile. And after it finishes, I'm open for Q&A or personal questions. So, if anyone wants to actually log into the LinkedIn app from a second device while watching this one, you're welcome to do that and see if you can tweak your profile along the way in real time. All right, let's get started. So, all right, so polish your LinkedIn profile in 30 minutes. These are practical strategies designed to help you build your network. And just for a minute, I'm going to explain, why does LinkedIn matter? Well, first of all, it was designed because they wanted to make the workplace more productive. Every person who works needs the opportunity to build connections and network, build themselves up. It's your opportunity to demonstrate who you are professionally. It's not like Facebook, which is all about updating the family, or Instagram, which is all about your pictures. LinkedIn isn't just your resume. It's your personal brand. It's your chance to show who you are. So there's five key areas to strengthen, and I'll go through them. Maybe not exactly in this order, but I'm going to show you. And tweaking things on a regular basis keeps your profile up front and center, so that if you're in the network for or in the need for a recruiter and you don't even know it yet, they'll notice you. So first thing we're going to talk about is a headline and profile photo, then the about section, top skills, experience, and activity and profile additions. So, some tips before we get started. This image on the right-hand side of your screen is from the app on a mobile device like your cell phone. And just some quick things. Always look for the back arrow to go back to the screen. Treat your headshot profile photo as if it's the home button. And this is again when you're on your mobile device. Use the pencil to edit any section, which works whether you're on a PC or a laptop or mobile device. And then the back arrow gets you back, and then always look for the save button to close a section and save your changes. And if you don't like the changes, you can always go back and edit it. It's not forever. I mean, unless you write something really crazy like I want to kill people or something like awful like that, then that's, yeah. So let's start with the first part. I mentioned your headshot. First impressions count. And yes, you can do AI imaging to give yourself a professional photo, but make sure that it doesn't look like it's trying to portray you as something you're not. I had an MD, PhD consult with me, and she said, I think this AI photo is fine. And I said, it makes you look sexy, and you're not trying to look sexy to get that job in a research company. So think about what it is AI gives you. Ideally, I prefer a professional headshot, and if you're in the New Orleans area, I can actually make recommendations to people to follow. And some of them run little specials for headshots periodically that are so affordable. And then your banner photo. This one, I had a meeting yesterday with someone else who speaks with people trying to get to the executive suite. And he says your banner photo should be 3 bullet points of who you are and what you can do. Um, I do think it's important to reflect your interests or your field. And then, but if you don't have anything to say, you can use a generic neutral photo. It doesn't have to be that personal photo of your dog or your kids, unless that's something you want to be shared publicly with the people who you're trying to work with. And then the third point in this section here is your professional headline. This is really key. You need to state who you are and what can you do. This first page, when people look at you, they're going to see who are you, your photo, they're going to see your banner, kind of like pull it together. And then they're going to see your headline and be like, oh, this is what she does, and this is what she can do. Right. So in this case, Dr. Laura McCain is a physician and she advances women's health through innovation, access, clinical development. I'll give you some of my examples as well. This about section is from Laura's page, but your about section is the paragraph below that. And if you don't have one, when you go on your phone on the app, or even if you're on the PC, you find the button that says add to profile. And when you find add to profile, there's a section called core sections, and I'll show you that in the next section. But when you get to the about section, this is your chance to share in a brief paragraph your professional story. You can make it a little bit personal. You need to put in some tangible accomplishments. Don't be vague. If you've sold over 5,000 patents, if you've designed over 100 unique novel applications to something, write all that in and put your contributions. If you are, for example, I was in the pharmaceutical industry, and at one time, I don't know, I'll have to look at see what I say currently, but I made hundreds of connections. I've brought together over probably 500 physicians, scientists, and nurses and researchers. So that is cross collaboration. That's something I'm passionate about. So, and what problems do you care about solving? Because in the end, it's all about what's the situation, the background, the problem, and what's the solution you can bring to the table. So, when you click on that add to profile button, there is a section where you can add your skills and your about section. And let me go a little bit out of order before I get back. But if you get to the point where you can add your skills in, pick your top five. This is what I said my top five were when I made this deck a while back, but I've changed it since. Now, it's very important when you hit add profile that you have an experience section. You need it to be accurate. I've worked a lot of jobs as physicians. I don't list every hospital like I would for a resume or a CV or hospital privileging credentialing, but I do list all my background in general. Um, if you're really young, you do not have to put experience in your teenage years, high school years, unless you feel it's relevant. If you were already designing websites at 15 and now you're a web designer, you can put that in there. Um, I worked at a CVS or a Rite Aid in high school. That wasn't really relevant to what I'm doing now. So, and my high school was a long time ago, so that is not in mine. You do need to keep it accurate. It's not like Facebook where you can say, I went to the School of Hard Knocks. Be proud. And if you went to Tulane, put it in there. And it should automatically populate with Tulane's logo for the school that matches, like if you worked there, and organize your experience. In this case, I'm also a travel advisor. If you notice, the date is January of 2024. Now, if I don't edit this profile, it would automatically put that above my Plans Connect business. And I'm using my LinkedIn for my Plans Connect business primarily. I feel like my travel advising business is my side gig. So I adjusted it. So the most relevant experience is at the top. So, you want to highlight your achievements. It's not a list of what you did in the job. It's not just, um, ran photocopies, published agendas. You want to write crafted and published agendas for the annual meeting every year, something to make it like, oh, this is actually relevant. It's not just fluff. And so make it concrete. You can use AI, but what's important is that you generate the material first and then plug it into AI, whatever tool you use, and say where it's going to go. Give the AI tool instructions to say, this needs to go in my experience section of LinkedIn, and this is my experience. And you write it all out. It doesn't have to be perfect grammar or anything. That's where AI comes in and fixes it. And then you proofread it and try it and see what traction you get. If you don't like it, you can always change it the next day. So we're back to that top skills section. When you're in your oh, I went backwards. Sorry. I now, so when you hit add to profile, you get three categories. You get the core section, which I mentioned education, your position, job experiences. If you're a business providing services, you can put that. If you took time off for a career break due to death, illness, FMLA, there is now an option in LinkedIn to include that information if you had a baby. And then that's where the add skills comes in. And the beautiful part of when you add your skills, you link it to your schools and your education. For instance, I learned statistical analysis, or maybe not exactly. I'm not a statistician, but I did study it in the School of Public Health to get my master's degree. And I did study it in medical school. I did use some of it in residency. Um, Critical thinking skills, I used all throughout my career. So I link it to different jobs. And I'll show you that in live in a minute. The next section of add to profile is the recommended things. Do you have any certifications, any articles, any special projects you've led? Have you taken any special courses? Do you have recommendations? This is kind of the let me show off myself a little bit section. Excuse me. But if you have a certification for BLS, ACLS, I have my travel advising certifications, put it all in there. It all counts. Then the next part, add to profile additional. This is where you can put a little more personal items to make you more unique and stand out. I volunteer in the farmers market system quite often, so that's listed in there. I've also volunteered in other nonprofit sectors, so including those related to women's health. Those are in there. I have not published anything, so I don't have any publications. I don't have any patents. Some of you may. I've had a few honors quite some time ago, but I put those in. I personally do not have any test scores because mine are so old, I don't even know if I could find them. I do speak other languages, and I belong to a couple of societies. My society memberships have changed over the years, so I'll add and drop them, and it just shows where my career has gone. Or you can put an end date if you need to. So I guess this is my question. Have you added to your profile recently? So now activity. So even if you don't have everything set up, but you're still building it. The other beautiful part of LinkedIn is to make a comment here and there with meaningful thought. For instance, this person, Dr. Amna Shabir, she is someone I admire. And she's connected to a lot of people. She does some amazing talks. And when I saw that my connection, Tina, commented on hers, she said, LinkedIn said, Tina celebrates this. Then I realized, oh, let me look at Dr. Amna Shabir's post and see what she has to say. And then I can make a comment. So then Amna will notice who I am. So that's the second degree connection. Or here's another example, bottom one down here. I had no idea who Brad Boa is, but he's a co-director and director of partnerships of something. And he made a post about where medicine begins, healthy soil, healthy produce. I know Jacqueline. I met her last year at a culinary medicine conference, and she liked his post. So then I was like, oh, let's see. What is this person, Brad, doing? There's a symposium at Southwestern. Let me check it out. And then, oh, what is this restorative farms? This links back to my personal volunteer interests. So then I can make a comment. Maybe I can make a new connection. Sometimes it just starts with one conversation. Now, some common mistakes with LinkedIn. Remember, I said you need a headshot. If you don't have one, they don't know who you are. They're just not going to know who you are. You'll be invisible. Have something in your About Me section. You don't have to have it perfect the first time. Definitely have enough information on your career. You don't want it to look inaccurate or incomplete. And definitely, you can use that messaging feature. For instance, that previous one where I talked about secondary connections, if I really wanted to learn more about what that guy Brad and his farm did, I could message him and say, Hi, I read about you and I saw you're connected to so and so, which is a valid connection, and ask a question, express your interest, be genuine. And that's the last point is don't be phony. Don't talk about things you're not interested in. Talk about who you are, what you are, know your core values because that is important. Now, the best time to maximize LinkedIn is when you're not looking for a job. So, in order to be ready for that job when you're looking for it, you've got to already have connected with professionals in your target field. Again, using that secondary connection approach. Are there companies who you would love to work for or that you admire the work they do? Follow them. Are there leaders in research or in the companies you want to work for? Follow them. Again, you can even message them and say, I enjoy reading about your research, or I have followed your material in my graduate school program, or anything. And that will bring you onto their radar. Be genuine. Don't be phony. And that's what I mean by engaging in conversations in your area of expertise. What if your area of expertise is, um, well, like Susan, she used to work as was it a recruiter? Yes. So she could easily engage with conversations with other recruiters and say, "Hey, I noticed, you're always posting about recruiting for this position. Have you I was thinking it'd be interesting to do a different approach. Would you be willing to talk about it?" And she's not trying to sell anything to that person. She's just engaging in a conversation. And you don't even have to necessarily offer a suggestion. You could just say, "Hey, I like what you're doing." And and a compliment, a genuine compliment will do a lot to build your relationship. And every time you comment on things, it lets your network know what you're exploring. You can even make a post saying, I'm interested in learning more about how you do time management. I've made a few posts about that. What works? What tools work for time management? And I'm looking into things to better balance my work strategy. Those, then your network knows what you're exploring and you can generate more conversations and connections. So another thing, don't be that person who says, I can't even remember my password to log in. Update your profile regularly, log in, engage, because the more you're active on LinkedIn, the more people will remember who you are, and that's what you want. You don't have to be a natural networker or an extrovert. This is online. Just be you and put yourself out there. The more you use LinkedIn, the easier it is. And these two screenshots here are just about a year apart. And at one time, I had this many viewers and this many people had impressions after I'd posted. So the numbers go up. It takes time, but the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll feel, and the more you'll also figure out who are you to share on here. Like, who are you? What are you projecting of yourself? And as you keep writing about yourself, it's going to force you to think about, well, is this who I really am? Is this where I'm going now in my career? Where I was at 28 is not where I'm at 38. So things change. Other tips, if you are an expert on something, I wrote a nice article on meeting agendas and I still stand by it. And I haven't written a lot of other articles, but that is one thing I learned from all my different careers. Have an agenda ready for the meeting, whether it's a one-on-one meeting, a meeting with the boss, a meeting you got called to, ask for an agenda, make an agenda. So I wrote an article on it. Now, if you have other knowledge, maybe you work in the garden space and you have tips on how to grow fruits and vegetables year round. You could write a monthly article, you could write a weekly post, make a series. Now, keep yourself realistic. I have a podcast series, and when I started, I told myself only once a month, and that's all I'm sticking to. And so far, we're in the middle of the 18th month to be released today, or not today, but this month. And you can also do some featured items with highlights. You can also tag people, which is actually a great tool and a great feature because if someone inspires you, you can even repost their material and put a line. Don't just automatically repost with no comment, but say, oh, I really enjoyed the advice given by X person. And I'm sharing it with my group so that you can benefit from it as well because it blah, 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 whatever purpose. And on that same post that you shared, before you share it, you can tell the author, oh, this is great information. I am sharing this with my network. Or as in a lot of my SOPA classes, they always want us to say, add a question to the discussion. And you could say, well, have you considered this angle? How does this fit in with this? Whether you're talking about healthcare access, insurance, where is the clinic located? Like, does the public transit system play a role in access? And then this is something I always mean to do more of. I have done some LinkedIn courses over the years. Unfortunately, the one that was my favorite, I did it when I was working in the pharmaceutical industry and it no longer is available. But you can add these certificates to your profile. So if you have some downtime between jobs, you can spend it on self-learning, self-education. They have LinkedIn Learning on everything from fundraising to you just name it. There's something on everything. It's really quite impressive. So I personally have this business called Plans Connect, and I offer these services if someone wants to do personalized guidance beyond today's session. And you can go to my website. I have three different options, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I would love to get that business if you're interested. You can also just simply follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even Facebook, and I have the website, but and Eventbrite events. But next I'm going to go to I want you to see a live LinkedIn. So give me 1 second to get there. And and I'm going to open it up to questions here. Okay. Let's see. How do I make sure we're back on screen? It says I'm paused. Do I hit stop and start? I'll do that. Oh, wait, I see some questions in the chat. Are there any questions?
I feel like I stole your job, Swati. I've been answering questions in real time.
Oh, I'm so
Can you,
sorry. I
no,
didn't
no, no.
know.
There's a Q&A, and there is one in the chat. But I couldn't help myself.
That's okay. You do this too for a living. I mean, I know. I love it. I mean, there is room for all of us and we all have different approaches. So I'm just going to do some quick demonstrations. I'll do it like in 5 minutes and then open it up for more Q&A if people are willing to come up. But this pencil here is for the cover image. I had made a graphic. I actually don't like it, but I left it there. And if you can everybody see my screen where a pop-up image said change photo? And I'm gonna let's see what photo I can find. I don't know. I have no idea what. Oh, that's is it? Oh, here we go. I could put this. This is it's just a variety. I'm not saying this is the perfect cover image, but it's something. This one, I will probably update my headshot soon. I had some done recently, just on Sunday, but, and you do not have to buy premium. Um, excuse me. I hit the pencil for the intro, and let me go back and show everyone where that was. So if you want to change your name, your headline, your cover photo, you hit this pencil below the cover photo. And so I've got my first name, my last name. I want my credentials there. If you want pronouns, they're there. You can even set who gets to see what your stuff is. Um, Here's my headline. I think I saw there was a spacing error earlier, so I'm editing that. Let's do that. And this is my current position. I want to show my current company in my intro. This is the industry it's in. You can even choose which school you want to highlight. Tulane School of Public Health was my most recent um, education, so I put that. I like that in my intro. Um, I have contact information. I have a website, and I have um, the text that goes to that link. So I'm going to hit save for that one little typo I had, and then. So it's fixed now. I like the straight lines between my titles. Then here's that button, add to profile section. And if you're in the course section, again, education, position, services, career break, skills. Then there's recommended. And if you can't see what I'm showing, please do say something. Let Susan know and she'll tell me. So again, my favorite is adding the skills section. So, LinkedIn loves to suggest things. This is true. I have some expertise in, I wouldn't say if it's in medical device R&D. I don't actually write journal articles, but I do know how to distribute the information for health information management. I've done that in all my clinical roles. So I'm adding it to my different clinical roles where I was an obstetrician, And then I'm just going to hit save. Um, then if I want to add more skills, I do some volunteer recruiting, and I've done it at various nonprofits. And I think that's probably the only place that well, no, I did recruit some people here. And here we go. I have recruited people to this community committee and recruited people for that. Some of these don't have logos because they may not have had them as an online presence on their own. So, all right. So these are my different, I'm not adding any more skills, so I'm going to hit no thanks. Um, I could write an article. It says if anyone is interested in developing their skills in volunteer recruiting, a quick thought based on my experience that might be helpful. You could write a little post like that. I'm not writing that today. Um, and so these are the services I do offer, but this is I was telling you about that top, about section. You hit the pencil. And I've edited this a lot and I change it periodically. Now, in my skills, I have these are my top planning sections and I mean top skill sections. I could move if I want to change it, you use these to change the order of things. So you hit save. And if you want to feature any posts, I should probably edit this, but yeah, here I'm gonna hit the pencil and I'm gonna remove from featured. This event was April 30th. I'm not deleting the post, but it's not featured anymore. And um I'm gonna remove this one from featured, but I can add other featured items. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to add a post. So it's going to show me my different posts. And I can feature that one. I can feature this one. And I think I had this other interesting post that I actually, this one. This post of mine actually got me connected to someone from Biz New Orleans magazine. And I now have an article in it as of today. So the power of LinkedIn. You just never know. I'm going to stop sharing here and open up for more questions. I have to put my glasses on to read the chat.
Yeah, it's fine. I think some people were asking if they were going to be able to see this presentation afterwards, which I will share a link with everyone to the recording. Everyone who signed up will get the link. And then some were asking how to get in touch with you, and then you went to your screen about how to get in touch. So perfect timing. And now I am just following up with a student who was trying to figure out maybe how to post a few things on her LinkedIn, but I think her LinkedIn looks great.
Okay. Well, for the person who asked the question for later, so your campus involvements from undergrad, you don't have to do bullet points. If you think it looks better, you can, but you can do a short 1 to 2 sentence summary. I think that's useful. And you shouldn't delete the key. I mean, I don't think you need to delete experiences that highlight other key skills because I think it shows your depth of a personality and that you are adaptable to other things. Sometimes what doesn't look relevant to you ends up being relevant to someone else. So if it is your experience and you were skilled at the tasks involved, I would leave it. And I don't know if that answers your question. Um, you can also find me I did put my website in the chat. And if you just look up Plans Connect on LinkedIn or Instagram, it's here at Plans Connect, or you can follow me directly. There's actually, I don't know if I can pull it up here. There is a tip if you're at a networking seminar. Let me see if I can share that from my phone. So when you have the app on your phone and you open the app, hopefully y'all can see. I don't know what that is. You touch the search bar. Oops. Um, so you tap your finger in that search bar. See it's blinking there. And then on the right-hand side, there's four squares. It's not a X outline. It's this button here. And you touch it and it generates a QR code. And this QR code can be used with anyone, whether they have an iPhone, an Android, whatever phone, and you can have them screenshot it, you can scan it, you can tap it phone to phone directly. And the thing I love about LinkedIn when you're at a networking event, you can use things like Blink and Popple. You can use Share My Contact from your phone. You can do the phones buzzing together, head to head. But the thing I really, really love about LinkedIn, and let me show you on my LinkedIn page, it's going to show you who your most recent connections are. And I think that is just a beautiful feature. I do have a Blink card. I've been gifted a Popple card by Nucleate New Orleans. And I'm going to, let's see, hold on. I'm going to get to the right page so I don't bore you with toggling around. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share my screen. And okay, so if you go to your LinkedIn page and you click on the connections button up here, the people button, then you see your connections. It says I have 2,600 connections. And the really, really beautiful thing is you look at it by recently added. So say you go to any event, a happy hour, holiday picnic, 4th of July picnic, and you meet someone you want to connect with on LinkedIn, and all you have is your phone. Pull up your LinkedIn app, tap your finger in the space, click the four squares. It's a tiny little four square X, and get to your QR code. And this tells you all the people you just connected with. So I accepted this person's connection this morning, connected today. Now I know I have this request. I saw it and you guys saw it too. If I accept you, and I go to my connections list, connections, it's the first one I just accepted. And I love this feature way better than Popple or Blinkin, whatever, because number one, so let me go back and add in some extra tips. When you are on your page, you need to have your contact information. Okay, mine only shows New Orleans, Louisiana, but my website is here, my phone number is here. I'm not crazy about that. My email, I probably should change it to from my personal email to my Plans Connect email. But anyways, my LinkedIn is this is my parent email. So but all you can even customize your LinkedIn profile name. So mine is Swati Shah, the professional connector. And so when someone, when I connect with someone and they're like, oh, I don't know how often she checks her LinkedIn. She told me she's going out of the country. Let me find another way to reach her. Um, you can click on that contact information and see how to get in touch with them. So If I do someone else, let's say I'm just going to click on this person. Uh, See, she doesn't have a whatchamacallit, and her contact info is very brief, but she does have an email because not everybody checks their messages. But what if I really need to reach out to her because I think she's the best candidate for something that I'm working on, and I'm like, how do I find her? All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I hope that was useful. And I don't know what else is in the chat. So, Susan, do you want to add anything else?
I think we're good. Yeah, that was great. I got an email saying this was all very helpful, and I will share the recording with everyone who signed up for the presentation. And we really appreciate you being here. And I learned a lot. So thank you so much.
Wow, and you're an
Yeah.
expert. I am honored. Susan, I'll follow up with you separately after we hang up, if that's okay. But thank you all for attending today. And I am available for consultation or even workshops. If you are part of a student group and needs a similar workshop, I'm happy to come in person or do it over Zoom for your group.
Thanks, Swati.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.